Hey guys, hey, I just wanted to read this story to you guys today. I hope that everybody is doing okay. This is Daily Check In with Mrs. Casey number 2. So we have the story called Those Shoes, and I love this story, and I hope that you do too. I always challenge you to figure out what is the author trying to tell us and what's the theme of the story. Basically, what did you learn? So here we go. Those shoes. I really wish that I was actually reading to you this in person, not just over video. But those shoes, here we go. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. There's no room for want around here, just need. Grandma says, and what do you need new boots for? Or, excuse me, and what you need are a new pair of boots for winter. Brandon T comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now, not me. I was always the fastest runner before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom, 7 times in one day, just so that he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. Then one day, in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfrey, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who needs things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size, Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't even think kids ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at Mr. Alfie's shoes and laughs, and so does Terrence, Brandon, and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfie." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes, but when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight my pencil I think it might burst. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I got a little bit of money set aside. Might be enough. You never know." And at the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so she can check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavily. "Maybe they wrote it down wrong," I say. Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his or got 2 pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoe except for the ones I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of those shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. There's Grandma looking, and them looking, window shopping. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard as I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. "How exciting," Grandma says. "What size are they?" I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. You think they're gonna fit? Have you ever wanted something so bad that you're gonna just make do with what it is, even though it's not like the perfect size? Hold on just 1 second. Tyson, come here. Come on. There's your good boy. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoes. Oh, Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right and there and then. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. Sometimes we'll do whatever we can to make sure that we get what we want, but sometimes it's not always the right thing. At home a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my two big feet shuffling around in my two small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma just gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear Mr. Alfie's shoes instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at Mr. Alfie's shoes. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every single time he jumps. I think, I'm not going to do it. I wonder what he's thinking about what he's not going to do. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from the end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Do you think there's some thoughts going on in Jeremy's head? Maybe some kind thoughts, maybe some thoughts that maybe is going to help Antonio? Grandma calls for me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty and I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for a long time thinking about Antonio when morning comes. I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and I run. You see what's happening here? So over on this one, there's Antonio. He's dashing away. After school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at Mr. Alfie's shoes. I wonder why he feels happy and mad at the same time. Do you think it's okay to feel happy and mad at the same time? But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remembered I have in my backpack. I have new boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Then they say, "Let's race." And there they are racing. You know, sometimes when we have wants, sometimes we have to think about our needs first rather than our wants. And especially during this time when we're all at home, can't go to school, can't really go out and play with our friends a whole lot. We want to go and do all that, but it's important that we think about the needs first and our wants second. Kind of like how we talked about putting first things first, one of our habits that we've been talking about. Putting first things first, making sure that you're getting the most important things accomplished or getting those things done that you have to get done rather than the things that you want to get done. Kind of like the same thing that Jeremy was going through. He really, really wanted those shoes. but it wasn't the important thing. And if you think about what was the important thing in this story, what was in the end? What happened to be the most important thing? How did Jeremy put first things first? I hope you guys have a good day, and I can't wait to check in with you guys again tomorrow. Talk to you later. Bye.